Let's get people in here. Starting over as always. So, what do we talk about today? If it's not fizzy, How is it? Is it static, fuzzy? Hello, Coco. Welcome to the Heathen Hangout. And yes, much better as always. We'll just have everybody come in. Hello, Curtis. Hello, Mr. Surpaws. And, let's see here. Who else is coming in? Who else? Yep, here we are in the Luke Stream 2.0, Lexi. Welcome. Thank you. Yes. So, I know there was one more. She should be here soon. Well, Dino. Anyway, today, yes, doing it on Saturday today. Yeah, what best do? Doing it on Saturday today, just for a different thing. To allow perhaps anybody else that wants to do a live Heathen Hangout, like Raventor, to do one on Sunday. So, today, we shall be talking about wisdom. Ooh, just got out of the shower and you'll go eat. Have a wonderful evening to you too, Coco. Right then. Yes, I did make notes. Well, some of them. Barely. I chose which section to read out of the book. So we'll start with that. Good morning. Good morning. Well, afternoon. Hello. I do have canvas shoes. Yes, I do. Here they are. Here's some canvas shoes. Oh yeah, I was gonna do something. I can sing a song, I can. But I was gonna do something for the Heathen Hangouts. Hold on a second. Let's see here. I forgot to do something here. Absolutely nothing to do with what anybody's been asking. It's just I was going to do this for the Heathen Hangouts. Just make it a subscribers only mode for the chat, just so that it doesn't get overwhelmed. So anyway, following on the question of can I sing a song? I can. Let's see. I'll think of one. So, there you are, Wild Dino. Now we can begin. Welcome, everyone. I present to you all this flower. Anyway. Oh, that's been there for months. So, we will begin with the Poetic Edda, as always, on this Heathen Hangout, where we all hang out as a tribe and stuff. So, it just begins with a reading of the book that we all read and stuff. That has the old stories in it for anyone watching. 74 are watching. So, we shall begin with an old story called... Yes, you should get a new shot. You should get a shot of that new rum, Mr. Topaz. It might go well with this story. It'll go on for a while, which will give me a moment to think. So, this is an old story from the Poetic Edda. And it's a story of the Old Norse times. Grimness and all. You can all chat in the comments as we go. Concerning the sons of King Hrothung. King Hrothung had 2 sons. One was named Agnar, and the other Giroth. Agnar was 10 years old, and Giroth was 8. The 2 of them rowed out in a boat with their fishing tackle, and hoped to catch some small fish. But the wind drove them far out into the sea. In the dark night they wrecked and went up onto the land, where they met a poor farmer, and they stayed there with him over the winter. The farmer's old wife fostered Agnar, but the farmer fostered Giroth and tutored him. Early in the spring, the man gave them a boat, and when he and his wife followed them down to the shore, sunlight. The man spoke to Giroth in secrecy. Early in the spring, the man gave him a boat. The man spoke to Giroth in secrecy. The boys departed, and the wind was favorable. They came to their father's harbor, and then Giroth, who stood foremost in the boat, sprang up on land and shoved the boat back out to sea and said, "Go wherever the trolls take you." Oh, dear. The boat drifted far out to sea with Agnar. But Giroth went inland to his father's hall. He was received well, but he learned that his father had died. So Giroth was taken as king, and he became a famous man. Odin and Frigg sat in Hlithskjalf and looked out over all the worlds. Odin said, "Look how your foster son Agnar sits and fathers children on a troll woman in a cave, while my foster son Giroth is a king and rules the land." Frigg said, "But Giroth is so stingy with food that he starves his guest. If he thinks there are too many." Odin said that this was a tremendous lie, and so he and Frigg made a wager about it. Then Frigg sent her servant Fulla to Giroth, and had Fulla warn him that a sorcerer had come to the land, but that this sorcerer could be recognized by the fact that even the fiercest dog would not attack him. It was in fact an idle rumor that Giroth was miserly with his food. All the same, he ordered any man who would not be attacked by any dog to be apprehended. Odin came wearing a blue cape and called himself Shadowed Face, but said nothing more of him self, even when asked, so the king had him tortured in an effort to extract more information from him, and had him placed between 2 burning fires, where he sat for 8 nights. King Giroth had 10-year-old son named Agnar, after the king's brother. Agnar went to hit this Shadowed Face, and gave him a full horn to drink, and said he thought his father was behaving poorly, so to torture a man without cause. Shadowed Face drank, and by then the fire had grown so large that it began to burn his cloak. Then Shadowed Face said, okay, so. Oh, hello, Michael Buck. Yeah, dude, drive by. That's good. Good to see you. Yes, very good. We're doing very well. So, after I finish the story, we'll do a short talk on seeking wisdom, is what I forgot to say before I said this, or maybe I did say it, but didn't really explain that well. So, Shadowed Face said, "You're hot fire, and much too big. Get away from me, flames! My coat is getting burned, even though I'm holding it up. My clothing is on fire!" You know about that, Lexi, don't you? Well, we do. Game reference. "I've sat between fires here for 8 nights, and no one offered or gave me food except Agnar alone. Now Agnar will be the sole ruler of the lands of the Goths. Hail Agnar! It's the chief of the gods who's wishing you well. You will never be repaid so well for one drink, no matter how long you live. I see a holy land which lies near those of the gods and the elves in that place. Through time, Thor will live till Ragnarok." So, he now just gives up all this stuff about, well, basically, this story is where we got a lot of the ideas of the Norse realms, this one story, because he just goes on about all the wisdom that he knows. Ul has built good halls for himself in Yudlir. The gods gave Frey the land of Elfheim long ago as gifts in his youth. Also lets us know that Odin really likes to ramble. I know a third place where happy gods live beneath a silver roof. It's called Vlaskjolf, the place Odin made himself in the old days. A fourth hall in Sokufabek, which the cool waves crash upon, where Odin and Saga drink happily every day from golden cups. A fifth land is Gladsheim, where gold-bright, wide Valhalla stands. That is where Odin chooses from the men killed by weapons every day. Valhalla is easily recognized if one comes to see it. The hall is held up by the spear shafts. It is roofed by shields. Chainmail is on the benches. Valhalla is easily recognized if one comes to see it. A wolf hangs above the western door, and an eagle above him. Yeah, so all the things that you've heard about the Valhalla and how it all looks, when you see depictions of it, it comes from this story. Dasi, the mighty giant, once lived in the sixth hall, now known as Thrymheim, and now Skathi, bright bride of the gods, lives in her father's old home. Balder built himself a hall, and it is called Breithablik, that place where I know you'll find little grief. Heimdall inhabits the eighth hall, Himinbjorg. That is where he is the master. In that pleasant house the watchman of the gods happily drinks his good mead. Freya rules in the ninth land, Folkvang. That is where she arranged the seats. She chooses half the dead who die in battle, and Odin takes the other half. The 10th hall is Glitnir with gold. Anyone? Hello, G. And the Bladinator. I did jump in the river. It was very refreshing. The 10th hall is Glitnir with gold walls and a silver roof. Their god named Froseti is there on most days, and he settles disputes. The 11th hall is Njorth's, which he built and named Noatun. That flawless lord of man ruled that high timber temple. The wide land of Ithar is overgrown with high grass and weeds. That bold son of Odin is preparing himself to avenge his father on horseback. Anthriminir, the cook. I never heard of him. Lets the pork from Sirminir cook in the cauldron Elrimnir. There is no better meat. There are few who know what the Einhuyar eat. Battle-winning Odin feeds his tamed wolves, geary and freaky, but for his part, weapon-loving Odin lives on wine alone. Thought and memory, my ravens fly, every day. Here they are on my ring. Hunin and Moonin, the whole world over. Each day I fear that thought might not return, but I fear more for memory. The waves thunder, and the Midgard serpent makes his home in Fenrir's sea. Dead men will find that sea passage too wide to wade. Valgrind is a holy gate with holy doors upon a field. The gate is old, and there are few who know how it is locked. Thor's hall, Bilskirnir, has 640 rooms, if all are counted. I am certain that of all roofed houses, Thor's is the largest. I think Valhalla has 640 doors, if all are counted. 800 Einhyrjar will walk through each when the day comes to fight Fenrir. Dad has a thing, a shirt that says Einhyrjar on it. There is a goat named Heathrun, who stands on Odin's hall and gnaws the limbs of the tree Lerith. That goat fills Valhalla's cup with bright mead from her udders, and that drink will never diminish. There is a stag named Eikthrunir, who stands on Odin's hall, gnaws the limbs of the tree Larath. Drops fall from his horns into the well of Velgrimir. That is the origin of all the rivers. The rivers Sith and Vith, Seiken and Eiken, Svol and Gunthro, Fjorm and Fimbulthul, Rhine, old name, and Rinaldi, Gipul and Gopul, Gummel and Guvnol, Thin and Vin, Thol and Hall. These conceal the gods' riches. Another river is Vina, another is Vegsvina, a third is Thjotn, also Nit and Not and Non and Hron and Slith and Hrith and Slig and Yilg and Vith and Von and Vond and Strond and Gall and Lipt. He just goes on. These rivers flow near the men who die and go to hell. But not that hell. One hell. Thor will wade 4 rivers every day, the one called Kormt and Ormt, and the 2 rivers, Kirlug, when he goes to meetings at the tree Yggdrasil, Bifrost, the bridge of the gods, burns in bright flames, and the holy waters seethe. The rivers Glath and Gilir, Glir, Skithrir, Slivdir, Snimnir, blah 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 blah. The gods of Asgard ride their horses every day over these when they go to meet at the tree of Yggdrasil. Smooth reader, aren't I? Beneath the tree Yggdrasil are 3 roots, which grow in 3 directions. Hel is beneath one, Jotunheim beneath another, Midgard is beneath the third. A squirrel is named Ratatosk. He runs along the trunk of Yggdrasil. He takes the words of the eagle, tells his insults to Nithhog below. Goatmead must have quite a punch. Wow, Dino. A squirrel is named Baba. There, aha. He tells insults to Nithhog below. There are 4 deer who stretch out their necks and eat the leaves of Yggdrasil. Dane, Valin, Dunir, and Durathor. No fool has ever guessed how many serpents lie beneath Yggdrasil. I think that Goan and Moan, Grabak and Grafaloth, Ofnir and Svafnir, sons of the snake, Grafnir, will always gnaw the tree's roots. The tree Yggdrasil endures more pain than any man can guess. It's eaten from above by the deer, on the side by rot, and from beneath by serpents. They bring my horn, my Valkyries, Hrist and Mist, Skillod, Skogul, Hild, Thruth, Chlok, Herfjot, Gold, Gudel, Rangrith, Rathgrith, and Regnleaf. They bring the Einherjar, beer. Those slender horses, Arvak and Alsvith, lead the sun across the sky, and the gods have hidden cooling bellows beneath their legs. Refreshing. There is a shield named Svol. It is set between Midgard and the sun in front of the shining sun. I know the mountains in the area would burn up entirely if that shield ever fell down from there. Interesting how they knew about the atmosphere. Skoll is the name of the wolf who chases the sun till it sets at the evening in the woods. Another wolf named Hati is Hrothvnir's son. He runs in front of the sun behind the moon. The earth was formed from Ymir's flesh, and the sea from his blood, the rocks from his bone, the trees from his hair, and the sky from his skull. The happy gods formed Midgard for humans from Ymir's eyelashes. Wow. They formed all the grim clouds from his brains. Whoever first put out the fire will have the help of Ul and all the gods. So you better be first. The realms will open to all the gods when the kettles are cooled. In ancient days, the dwarves made Skithblathnir, the best ships for handsome Frey, the strong son of Njorth. The tree Yggdrasil is the best of trees. Skithblathnir is the best ship. Odin the best god. Sleipnir the best horse. Bifrost the best bridge. Bragi the best poet. Interesting. You can learn some names here. Habrok the best hawk. Garm the best dog. I must say, I've never actually read all these in order. Hello, Woodlander. Good to see you here. We're just reading a bit of this story from the Norse times. Grimnismal. I have shown my face in the presence of gods. Now help is on its way. It will come to all the gods on Aegir's benches, when they drink at Aegir's place. I have called myself Grim. I have called myself Wanderer, Warrior and Helmet Wearer, Famed One and Third One, Thunder and Wave, Hellblind and One Eye, all the ones that Odin's known for. Truth and Swift and True Father, Battle Merry, Battle Stirrer, Curse Eye, Fire Eye, Evildoer, Spellcaster, Masked and Shadowed Face, Fool and Wise Man, Long Hat and Long Beard, Victory Father and War Ready All Father, War Father, Rope Rider and Hanged God. I have never been known by just one man. No, by just one name since I first walked among men. They called me Shadowface here at Gyros Palace, but Gilding at Asmund's. They called me Driver when I pulled the sleds. Told you he was Santa. See? And mighty at the assembly. Among the gods I am called Wish Granter, Speaker just as High Shield Shaker, Wand Bearer, Greybeard, Wise and Wisdom Granter. Where are my names at Sleipnir's hall when I deceived that old giant and killed? And I killed his famous son. I was his killer. You are drunk, Giroth. You have drunk too much. You have lost too much. When you have lost my favor, you have lost the favor of Odin and all the Einherjar. I have told you much, and you remember little. Your friends will deceive you. I see the sword of my friend dripping with blood. Now, Odin will have a weapon killed man. I know your life has ended. Your guardian spirits are anxious. They see Odin here before you. Approach me if you can. Odin is my name, but before they called me Terror, and Thunder before that, and Waker and Killer, and Confuser and Orator God, Heat Maker, Sleep Maker, both gelding and father. I think all these names were used for me alone. King Gareth sat with his sword on his knees, halfway drawn. When he understood that this was Odin who had come to his hall, he stood up and wanted to take Odin out of the flames, but the sword fell out of his hands and fell hilt first to the ground. The king tripped and fell upon it so that the sword pierced him through, and he died. Then Odin left, and Agnar was king of that land forever and ever, for a long time afterwards. The end. Gotta say, I thought I was going to encounter the thing where Odin says how he hung on a tree for 9 days and stuff, but it still goes. So that is our story. Welcome, Woodlander. And, what's anybody else been saying, Evening? Hello? Uh-huh. Good to see you all. So. Yep. He tripped and Odin went home. So yeah, since we're on the subject of Odin, without any notes, let's talk about, thank you, Curtis. And now, for the after subject, we can speak a little bit about finding wisdom. For we never, hello KP, welcome. We need to talk about finding wisdom, for we never stop the search for wisdom. The search for wisdom is ever ongoing, and everybody goes to it at a different pace. Isn't it interesting? Now, what is wisdom? Well, if we go off of Odin's example, it's seeking and knowing seeking all the truths of things, really. Wisdom isn't knowing information on something, it's knowing the truth, or at least what you perceive as the truth. Yes, the chicken is still alive. She's right there. Say something, Baroness. Yep. I think you heard her. Oh, dear. It's going dead faster than I thought the phone is. Let me get something. Dead air. So, what we need to do is take these games and set them up on the side. 1 second. 1 moment. So it can sit up like this. And then we take this plug and plug it in, because I have to keep it upright. So I need to keep it sitting up somewhere like this. And it goes back like that, and somehow it stands up. We'll remove 1 game each on each side. Yes. There we go. There we go. Hopefully it doesn't fall. Ha! It fell! It fell! Uh, well, what do you think, Baroness? So, as anyway, wisdom. Wisdom is English quite right. Wisdom is wisdom is knowing a tomato is a fruit. Knowledge is knowing not to put it in fruit salad. Or is it the other way around? uh, in my experience, wisdom flees from mankind for the most part. Flees from mankind for the most part. Quite right. Wow, Dino. Um, yes, wisdom is ultimately rarer than knowledge, I believe. Knowledge is um um well, I was going to have a thing before I did all that moving around. Now I've lost my train of thought. Well, anyway, oh yeah, that's right. Wisdom is knowing the truth, or at least your version of the truth. Like uh this book right here. Knowledge is knowing that paper, it's a book of paper, and that it is made by processed tree pulp, wood pulp, that is then broken down into little bits and made into paper and made into a mesh and then compacted all together in a factory, and then you have ink that is made out of petroleum or something other like that, and good at all that like that, and this wire is made around and around and around, and this brilliant pen is made in a factory somewhere with lots of machines and stuff, and that's knowledge, knowing that. But wisdom is knowing, well, sort of the truth of the matter. Like, this book is a vessel for knowledge. Well, at least once we put knowledge into it, if it's a blank book. It's having notions like that, I suppose. Everybody gets knowledge and wisdom at different rates. And you're right, Wild Dino, I believe that knowledge is far more common. But wisdom is what will make us survive. Mostly. I mean, you want to have knowledge, but you also have to have wisdom. Knowledge will help you survive, but wisdom, that's going to make you thrive. Ha, that's a good one. So, what is some wisdom that we all know? I'll ask the chat. General wisdom that you've learned. And the most advanced, well, yeah. Something about wisdom. Let us speak on it. Ah, Grassland G. Knowing how to properly use knowledge is wisdom indeed. Oh, okay. See you soon, Lexi. Bye. We shall continue here. Knowing how to properly use knowledge. Yes. Hello, Harish. Oh yes, and Woodlander. Not everyone wants to listen to wisdom, it's true. Most people will listen to knowledge, you know? You tell them something, and it's in a book, but you tell them your wisdom, and they'll be like, nah, I'm not listening. And, yes, if you know some knowledge, you have to know how to use it, and that does take wisdom. Like, what's some knowledge that needs to be used? I mean, I know to push the gas pedal. Yep, to party time. Dragon's gone. um, I know how to push the gas pedal in the vehicle in order to make it move. That's knowledge, but it takes wisdom. And it takes wisdom to It takes wisdom to know how to not press your foot down on the gas pedal and smash into a wall. That's wisdom. Oh, Harish, your chicken friend is right here. She'll show quickly, but just so. Here she is. Yep, she's still doing good. 12 years old, almost. Yes, using knowledge in a positive way takes wisdom. This is the trouble with live streams, and that's what'll happen in my videos. Of course, I get to edit that out. Sometimes when I'm thinking of a concept, I will think to myself, yes, that is, let me think, But, live stream, you're just continuing on. So anyway, what's some other wise words? Maybe we can't go on too long about it, but it's certainly a good subject. But you can only say so much about it. Of course, not really, because wisdom transcends everything. The more you know about wisdom, the more you will be able to thrive. Of course, you need the knowledge too, as I've said, but at the end I have a poem about wisdom, which I shall read when we get to the end. I'm not sure when the end is, so I've ran out of things. Sleipnir. Yes, good, very good. We shall talk about Sleipnir. Sleipnir is a horse with 8 legs. He's, I know this story. Yes, I can tell it from memory, but it may not be, word for word, but it will be accurate. One time, a giant came to Asgard. Yes, Asgard. And he wanted, he called the gods up forth and said, "Hear me, gods of Asgard. I will build you." Think about it. This is how the old stories were. They were told orally, based off of memory. Of course, probably with a lot more rigorous attention by the storyteller, but yeah. "I will build you a wall. And I will build a great wall. And it'll be the best wall." Oh no. But, and it'll be great. And Odin said, "But what will you want for this?" "All I, what was it? I bet you, no. "All I ask is that you hello, Longstick. I'm telling a tale by memory right now. All I ask is that you, give me, what was it? Freya in wedlock. Thank you, Mr. Sorpaws. Give to me Freya. And yes, and I will build you a beautiful wall. It will be tremendous. It'll be huge. And it'll span all of Asgard. And giants will pay for it." We're telling a story at the moment, but we were talking about wisdom and I ran out of ideas. So, in the chat, speak about, wisdom stuff. Yeah, we'll talk about wisdom whilst I tell this story. And it'll be a huge wall. And all I ask is that you give me Freya as my bride. Everyone wants Freya, it seems. Poor girl. And so the gods are like, "No, we're not going to give you that." But Loki is like, "Yes, I think you should." They're like, "What do you mean?" Trust me. Let me make a deal with them." "Okay, Loki." Loki goes, or Loki makes it, tells them what to do. Well, something happens, and they make the giant an offer. If you say that you can get the wall done before the end of, what was it, summer, I think, or was it the end of fall? Yeah, the end of summer. Um, the then we will give you Freya, but if you do not, you will get nothing, and you will leave the wall as it is. And the giant said, I can do that, and he brought out his horse, who was named something, probably. Yeah, 3 years, was it? Yes, that must have been it. If you can do it in 3 years. Or was it a year? It was some time limit. Oh, I'm so specific, aren't I? Uh, Brought out the horse and said, and his horse talked, of course. Uh, yes, KP the giant had 1 month to build it, and Loki turned. Yeah, we'll get to that part. Svaltfair was his name, I suppose. Yes, you call it Svaltfair. And with my horse, I will build this wall. So he got to building the wall, and he built the wall, and it was a big wall. Stone by stone, he built it up, with the horse carrying it up every day. And the gods began to worry as he reached the summer's end, or the end of the month. Uh, um, at the end of the month, or near the end of the month, he started to, what was it? I've been thrown off. At the end of the month, oh yeah, the gods were getting worried, and they looked upon it and said, are you sure you know what you're doing, Loki? Are you sure we should have made it? And Loki said, trust me. And they're like, okay, sure hope you're right about this. And so he was about to finish the wall, and he stopped and he said, time to work, time to sleep, and then by tomorrow morning I will finish that wall. Yes, he was going to make the deadline, and all it needs is one more stone in the morning, then asleep. But by that night, the horse that was with him, Svaldfair, was called from behind a rock or something. Svaldfair. And he seen a very nice looking mare to him. And they said to him, Svaldfair, why don't you come gallop with me? I can't. My master bids me to stay here. Well, do you only do what your master says? Why don't you come with me? Follow me. Come prance through the fields with me. No, I will not. I must stay here. But then you are just a lackey of him. No, I'm not. Well, follow me. So? He did, following the mare, into the cave. It led him to a cave. And then in the cave he beheld, he told, Svaldfair, the mayor told him Svaldfair many stories, and beguiled him with much entertainment of certain kinds. And then, come the morning, the giant woke up and behold, his horse was gone. Where are you? Where are you? He said, and he walked over the whole earth searching for his horse. But he could not find his horse. So he couldn't finish the wall. And by the time, yep, exactly, G. By the time the sun had set, the deadline was over. He had not finished the wall. And so he said to him, you, gods, what's happened? You've tricked me. And the gods said, You have failed your deadline. Uh, be gone from here, from this place. You are no longer welcome in Asgard. Um, but then he said, You! You have tricked me, gods! I will not let you have this wall. He picked up a rock to smash the wall down. But Odin simply put a hand forward and pushed him out of the gates of the wall that he had built and slammed the gates in front of him. Uh, and the giant was locked out forever. And Odin did have woe because an oath to himself seemed to have been broken, but he got over it because it was a nice wall, and it only had one stone missing. And then Loki came along, and then the horse that led the other horse away came along and said, "Here I am," and transformed into Loki. Behold, he was Loki. And yeah, Loki was the horse, was the mare all along. And leading back to the original question, I guess sometime later Sleipnir was born of Loki. I guess he had to transform back into the horse for that to happen, but yeah. And that's how Sleipnir was born, and how the walls were made. Yep. No, I bet not. But yeah. Um. Yep. Mr. Surpause. Looking for an English version of your favorite Norse gods and myths book. Is that one with the hammer on it? I think I've seen one of those books in the library. Oh, thank you, Wild Dino. Yes, I know that one by mostly memory in the way that I say, as you can see. But yeah, I'd like to tell those stories around supper time sometimes when we don't have anything to watch. I'll just sit and retell one of those stories. It's quite fun. So, with that, what can we learn about wisdom from that one? That was just pretty funny. Most of the Norse stories are quite funny. If you noticed, I find that interesting. Um, I mean, the whole idea of Loki being the horse. uh, yes, that book, Mr. Sorpaz. I know that one is in the library, but it wasn't right now, and it's definitely in English. In any case, speaking of the readings, I'm going to have to do my readings more in front of the wood stove, but it has been uh, it's not been very good for scheduling because Dad's out there building the house, and in the daytime, when it's best to do it, there's lots of noise in there, and also we're working on it. Have I ever learned of the book Shanam? No, I don't think so, but it sounds interesting. And yes, Dad is very dedicated. Um, we've helped him as much as we can, but I mean, really, whole thing is he's he's doing a lot. Every work that isn't done by us and Mom, he's doing the rest. It's quite the endeavor. Uh, oh, you found Geeters and Edda, and there's a book out there made for easy reading, comic book for kids. Interesting. You should post that on your channel, KP. It sounds interesting. Uh, oh, pen. Yeah, Yeah, I was making a lot of assumptions, Bernard. It's, it's not the case at all. Um, actually. Anyway, there's something else. Hmm? So, reason I'm looking for an English version of my book is because I do like the way mine is written and illustrated. Hmm, nice. Well, hmm. Oh yeah, first that would be good. You could read it to us. Um. So anyway, we will probably end about now. Yes, and I shall end with this poem, which I've forgotten to put it down what its name is, or who wrote it. Hmm. So I'm not sure what it's really meaning. Perhaps we can observe it, but I know it's about wisdom. But it sounds nice. O thou bright jewel in my aim, I strive to comprehend thee. Thine own words declare wisdom is higher than a fool can reach. I cease to wonder and no more attempt thine height to explore, or fathom thy profound, but, O my soul, sink not into despair. Virtue is near thee, and with gentle hands. I can't remember. Would now embrace thee hovers o'er thine head. Fain would the heaven-born soul with her covers then seek. No, with her converse then seek, then court her for her promise bliss. Auspiciously, Queen, thine heavenly pinions spread, and lead celestial chastity along. Lo! Now her sacred retinue descends arrayed in glory from the orbs above. Attend me, virtue. Through my youthful years, O leave me not the false joys of time, but guide my steps to endless life and bliss. Greatness or goodness, say what I shall call thee, to give an higher appellation still. Teach me a better strain, a nobler lay, O thou enthroned with cherubs in the realms of the day. I think I got that idea, really. And yes, oh yes, your story about Gleipnir. I remember that one, Mr. Sorpaz. And Wild Dino is right. Your red beans looked very good. Red beans video looked very good, KP, and the sausage that you added there, um, uh, yeah, looked very. It looked like a what would you call it? Gumbo, jambalaya maybe. I don't know, something Creole that looked very good. We make that sort of thing sometimes. Ah, grassland. G. Wisdom comes through humility, not force. I gleaned that from a poem. Um, yes, that's what it does sound like, and it is true. Wisdom is comes through humility and not force. And that's another distinction between knowledge and wisdom. You can learn knowledge. Uh, you can look through knowledge and wisdom. Uh, what's your deal, Bernard? I believe that you're making a lot of assumptions. Hmm? You don't know how I just went to. You don't know how I just went to Europe on my own. So, yeah. Um, anyway, as I was saying, knowledge is power, really. And you can learn knowledge by force, but wisdom you can only learn through calmness. That's really what I was saying. And Harish, do I know black magic? Whilst I've never practiced it. I mean, I know of it, sort of, maybe, kind of, I don't know. Depends on what you call black magic, really. I have a wand. Here it is. But I don't like the dark arts. Yeah. They're a bit too vicious most of the time. And cost too much. And yep. Oh, midnight here in Turkey. I'm glad I could read for you and give stories, nay then. You sleep well. Ba ba ba. And yep. Yes, the troll is teasing at the gates. Happy to have one, actually. It's, good, interesting, taxing on the mind. It takes wisdom. Yeah. So, anyway, I believe that that's what we can talk about wisdom. So I would, like to thank you for all joining, and thank you for all listening, and posting your comments and stuff. And yep, thank you all for coming. Curtis, KP, Wow Dino, G, Mr. Sorepaws, even those who, yeah, even those who are at the gate. And yes, it's true. Interesting enough. Wow Dino, quite right. So, it's been a good live. Glad to have joined the Saturday, and, well, was planning on, I was planning on promoing Raventor's, oh yeah, I did see that. I'll need to see it soon, KP, Bjorn's new video. I was going to promo Raventor's Heathen Hangout if he was going to have one Sunday, but I don't know if he does. Keep an eye out for it. So, that's why I was here on Saturday. And soon I will do a book reading. Perhaps in the morning, but it doesn't really matter if you see it live. Those are just for my own purposes. Yeah, anyway. It's been good having you here. Bye, everyone. Thank you to all for joining, and all for watching. I bid you all good evening, good afternoon, whatever the case may be, across all 25 time zones. This has been a Heathen Hangout with Luke and Mom. Peace out and be well, everyone. You have a great weekend yourself, Naylan, and welcome. And I'm going to get you to the last one in the chat. Yeah, later to you as well. Okay, bye, everyone. Bye, G.